Hey DevNations, hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be diving into Greg McKeown's Essentialism. We're not going to be diving into a full-on book review. If you want that, feel free to check out the video up there. Today we're going to check out the 10 best ideas, the biggest takeaways from this great book right here. And I think the best way to get into our book is by diving into a quote. But before we get into the quote, as always, please comment below your favorite takeaway from today's video. And if you've read the book, please feel free to share your favorite takeaway from the book as well. Love learning from you, love learning from the community. Let's get into it, DevNations. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. I absolutely love this quote. It really symbolizes the importance of getting clarity and being clear and building that self-awareness of what you want, so you can go ahead and communicate that with other people. So that's just a quote to really get our minds into the importance of essentialism and prioritizing our own life so we can then communicate it and allow other people to then prioritize us as well and our own values. So first idea, first takeaway from Essentialism: play fuels exploration. Play fuels exploration. I absolutely love play. I think it's such a great tool to use. And Greg McKeown certainly dives into the importance of play in his book, Essentialism. With play, it allows us to open up our mind and really broaden our own perspective. We can sort of see new possibilities because we go into this state or this mind of being playful. Whereas if we were to just be a little more closed-minded, not as playful, we wouldn't see things in a new light. But because we allow this open-mindedness of diving into this world of playfulness and being able to just enter play, we can then see things in a new light, which allow us to be a little more open-minded, see things in a new perspective, make new connections we normally wouldn't make because we're in this new state of mind. So we have new possibilities, have new choices, and can even make potentially new connections with our ideas and in the world. Play also helps as an antidote to stress. Sometimes we can get overwhelmed when we're doing all these stressful things, work, school, life is a lot. But if we allow ourselves to really play, then we allow, again, that new perspective, and we allow to just lower the stress. We can sometimes even solve problems just by being a little more playful. I gotta do laundry today. Let me play with it. Let me put a little music and dance while I do laundry, or let me go ahead and dance while I cook. Find different ways to be playful with the things you also have to do and take care of and be responsible with in life. Either way, it helps reduce stress in our lives. Lastly, with play, it has a positive effect on the executive function on the brain. And this is something new that I learned in Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism. He shares that with play, it has a positive effect on the executive function of the brain. So that means it has a positive effect on planning, on scheduling, prioritizing, deciding, analyzing, and more. All these different things that we need to be good executives or good leaders or good even team members. We got to know how to plan and schedule. So playing allows us to have this positive effect on all these different skill sets that we need in the workplace, at school, and in life. Second big idea from Essentialism: accomplish more by doing less. In other words, choosing to be an essentialist allows one to be able to do more by actually doing less. And the big thing to think about when you want to achieve more by doing less is by understanding our time is limited. So instead of focusing all our energy in 100 different directions, focus our energy on mainly one direction. Because if we just go in 100 different directions, going and just putting all this energy, we're going everywhere, yet nowhere. Whereas if we focus on energy in one direction, then not only do we actually only go in one direction, we make progress. We actually go that way instead of trying to go that way, then that way, then that way, then that way. All these different directions. So choosing to be an essentialist will allow you to accomplish more by actually doing less. Because instead of taking all this energy that you have and focusing it in all these different directions, you can use it to just focus in one direction. You get much farther, and you actually build a further, deeper skill set by being focused in the main ideas you want to go ahead and tackle. And now I like to think of it as more of what are the 3 to 5 big ideas you really want to focus on instead of the 10 or 100 big ideas. But the narrower, the better. If you can just focus on one, the better for you. But I personally had to do 3. What are the 3 big ideas, big intentions I want to set every single day. And that's my big idea when it comes to accomplishing more by doing less. So instead of looking at 10, 20 different things I want to do, no. Let's take today and let's just focus on what are 3 things I can do to make my life a little better or to better serve my mission or the people around me. Big idea number 3, focus on the essentials. A great way to focus on the essentials is by editing all of the non-essentials out of your life. In other words, eliminating or subtracting all this noise from our lives. And we can do this by first understanding that there really is an unimportance of practically everything in our lives. All this noise and people asking for help or attention, this and that. Usually we might be too scared to say no, but actually it's a strength. It's actually okay to say no. Usually the person that's asking for the favor doesn't necessarily need your help specifically. They just want someone to actually help them. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and say no to everybody or that you have to just be rude and just no. You can say no in a nice manner. No, I would really love to help. Right now, I'm really focusing on this project, but maybe reach out to this other person, or have you checked out this resource? You can go ahead and still help people without having to overcommit and overextend yourself. Of course, if you have some time and maybe you're both of those values aligned, you can help that person, you can help the team. I'm not saying you don't have to help everybody, but it's okay to take time, say no, so you can focus on your biggest intentions, on what really matters to you and what's most essential for you and your own values, your own essential ideas. And when focusing on the essentials, it's important to ask yourself, what is it that really matters? What is it that's most essential and most important for me? That way you can live each day with a little more intention, a little more clarity. Remember, when you're saying no, you're simply denying the request. Denying the request is not the same thing as denying the person. You can still deny the request and still be friends with that person, completely respect that person. You're saying no to that one request. That's all it is. Lastly, I want to end this idea with a quote. When we are unclear about our real purpose in life, we make up our own social games. That's why it's so important to have that self-awareness, to get clarity on what it is you want to do and be intentional with your own life through these essentials. Idea number 4, escape to focus. When we need to take time to carve out for our day to focus on the really big important tasks in our lives, we need to distract all the noise. We need to get rid of it all, whether that means our phones, whether that means our computers, our emails, whatever it might be. We need to be able to escape to that land, to that mindset of focus. And the best way to do that is to block out all the noise, whether that means turning off your phone, throwing away your computer, and just being away from all the technology or any other distractions that happen to take you away from the biggest priority in your life. Make sure you escape from it so you can allow yourself to really focus on what matters, on the projects that will allow you to make progress towards your biggest ideas, your biggest goals for the day or for the year or for the month. Whatever it is, make sure you escape to focus. Allow yourself to escape from all the noise and the distractions so you can really focus in on what it is you want to accomplish. Idea number 5, be a journalist. This one was rather interesting. Now there's 2 ideas to take away from this one idea, so it's sort of a double idea. Be a journalist. Well, 1, a journalist is someone who writes a journal. So that's the one idea. Make sure you take time to journal. This will help build up your self-awareness so you can reflect on your own life, be a little more intentional with the days you do have ahead of you. But the second idea with being a journalist, they also focus on the lead, or in other words, the point. What is the point of what it is you're doing? What is it that you're currently reading or you're currently studying up on? What's the point of doing it? Is it so you can get your degree? What is the main takeaway to take from the chapter you just read? What is the main idea for that chapter? Because you can spend 30 minutes reading or learning about a subject, but if you don't understand the main point of what it is you just did or the big takeaway from it, then you take away nothing. You've just spent 30 minutes to an hour studying something for no reason. You don't understand what it is you should be taking away from it. So always make sure you are being a journalist. In other words, taking time to journal, building up your own self-awareness and reflecting in your own life so you can also be intentional with your days ahead, but also taking time to focus on the lead, or at least understanding what the point of it all is. Whatever it is you just learned, whatever it is you just read, whatever it is you just did, what was the point? What is the takeaway from all that time that you allocated towards that one thing? And lastly, I lied. I said it was 2 ideas from this one idea. It was actually 3. When it comes to being a journalist, Be open to observing, especially the abnormalities or the unusual details. Throughout our days, make sure you take time to go for walks or go to the places that maybe are causing problems in your job or in your career or in school, whatever it might be, so you can observe the situation and start taking notice of any abnormalities or maybe even commonalities that aren't as well known. You can go ahead and see patterns and start connecting different ideas together so you can go ahead and build out solutions or better understand why it is that maybe your industry works that way. Oh, I saw these people behaving like this and I never noticed that, and that's the reason we have all these other ideas, whatever it might be. Make sure you're being open-minded and observing the world around you just like a journalist would. Number 6, protect the asset. To start off with a quote from the book, the best asset we have for making a contribution to the world is ourselves. And I think that is so true. We each have our own intricate, detailed, own unique lives, and I think we each have value to bring to the world. So the best way to do that is by understanding we each have contributions to make to the world, for each other. And the best way to do that is protect the asset. Protect yourself. Don't be afraid to take time to say, I need my 8 hours of sleep because I tend to focus better. I tend to do a lot more work in the few hours that I do have because I have all this extra energy from all the sleep that I got. Also, make sure you take time to work out, you eat right, you meditate, do the things that really help you get in that great mental flow and that great state of mind to achieve your best work possible. You have to be willing to go ahead and set boundaries and protect the asset, or in other words, prioritize yourself so you can go ahead and then maximize the time you do have when you do work. You can be in that mental state of maximum focus, maximum effort, and you can go ahead and just accomplish everything you want to get done because you have all this time to be able to rest, to be able to recover in between each work session. Because sleep and rest and all these other things to help rejuvenate us are important while we work. Once we're working, we've depleted all our energy. So we need this time to rest and focus and replenish our energies with a new day, whether that means yoga or sleeping or whatever it is that reinvigorates you. Make sure you block out time to prioritize it and do it. Big idea number 7, create a buffer. This was another interesting idea that I certainly took away from the book, completely sort of new idea for me, where you want to go ahead and build a buffer for any unexpected events. And I'm fairly guilty of this. Imagine you only have about 10 minutes to get to your destination. And it takes about 10 minutes to actually get there. Instead of leaving 10 minutes before the time you're supposed to get there, even though it takes 10 minutes, try and leave 15 minutes before. In other words, allow for this extra buffer so you can get there a little earlier and allow yourself to not be so stressed and frantic on the way there. Because the idea is when you create this buffer, you won't be as stressed if you're late or if a traffic accident happens or just congestion. You won't be as stressed throughout the ride, throughout the journey there. So you can enjoy the journey or the drive or whatever, however you get there. You can enjoy it all. You can enjoy it with family. You can enjoy it with friends. Plus, on the other side, even if it's not trying to get to a destination, maybe it's a project or deadlines you're trying to meet. Instead of trying to cram everything all the night before, go ahead and focus on just a little bit of progress, no matter how small it might be. If you get an assignment or a deadline for a project, today, right now, go ahead and take 5 minutes, allocate some time to start it right now. That's 5 minutes you won't have to worry about later on, especially that last week when the deadline is due. Make sure you take time to make progress towards those deadlines as early as possible, even if it's just small little 2-minute increments. There's this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, really great book that's really focused on helping you build good habits in your own life and getting rid of any bad habits. If you want a review on that book, feel free to check out the video up there. It's a really great book, but James Clear talks about this idea of the 2-minute rule. And the idea is really simple. Whatever habit you're trying to incorporate, just do it for 2 minutes, even if it's a 20-minute habit. Because after 2 minutes, maybe you'll want to do a little longer. Maybe you'll want to do a little more. Then you push it to 5 minutes. Then it becomes 10 minutes. Then it becomes 20 minutes. But at first, you have to just be able to change your own personal identity with that habit in order for that habit to actually stick, in order for it to stay in your own life. That's why it's important to build a buffer, embrace progress. Whether that's starting your projects as early as possible, even if it's just quote unquote 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Because over time, you start to become a little more disciplined. You become a little more consistent. You're like, whoa, I'm actually taking care of all these deadlines and projects earlier and earlier. I'm doing more and more. And over time, it starts to become this really big identity change, and it starts to compound over time. Big idea number 8, reduce the efforts to maximize results. And I put in quotes for this one, reduce the friction to maximize results. Big idea when it comes to essentialism is not only you are doing more by doing less, you are trying to do as much as possible in terms of that one focus, that one intention, by removing all the other non-essentials, or by removing all this friction and all this noise. So you can do this by looking at any obstacles that need to be removed by being clear on your intentions. Once you're clear on your intentions, by setting up that self-awareness, you can then go ahead, remove all the obstacles that are in your way, and just focus on the key problems or the key tasks that'll really make progress towards your intent or towards your goal. You can also identify the weakest link. For example, let's say you want to go on a hike with friends, and you have one friend who just always happens to take really long with hikes. You're always waiting for them. Well, okay, identify the weakest link. Your weakest link is your really slow friend. Now, instead of saying, all right, we all got to wait for that one really slow friend, remove the obstacle. And no, I'm not saying kick them out from the group and they can never hike with you again. What I'm saying is remove the obstacle. Why is it that they're taking long? Maybe it's that they really need a lot more water than the rest of you. Or maybe they're carrying a lot more things. Help them carry some things, or help them carry it all. That way they have less weight to carry, and now they can walk faster, and thus you can all walk a little faster. So you're removing sort of that friction that you have when doing these different challenges or different obstacles. So I think that's a really great idea of, instead of trying to work harder, work a little smarter. Get rid of all this friction in your life by removing any obstacles or any congestion in your life. And the best way to do that is to identify the weakest link and then remove that obstacle. Big idea number 9, to get big results, start small. I know we all want to do this really big thing, whatever it might be. We want to change the world. The best way to change the world is to make your bed. Is to start with the small little things you can do that you can't control right now. Make your bed, wake up early, brush your teeth, work out, focus on your tiny little goals that you think are important for you. For me, that's reading, that's studying. That's important for me. Whatever it is for you, working, whatever it might be, focus on what you find most important, no matter how small, because the best way to get big results is to start small, because those results will continue to compound and grow and grow and grow. Because if you just read, quote unquote, for 5 minutes every single day for 30 years, that starts to add up. So the big idea with getting big results is you want to start small. You might think, small won't actually make a difference. You'll be surprised. Remember, when it comes to habit formation, it's all about that identity change. Just like we talked about that 2-minute rule, start small. Those small, simple steps allow you to build consistency, and that consistency will eventually compound over time. You'll be surprised. So if you want to do the big ideas, you want to get those big results, start small. Big idea number 10, live more in the present. I absolutely love the last few chapters of the book. I love the entire book, but living more in the present is an idea he sort of used, especially in the later chapters of his book. He talks about the idea of chronos and kairos. So it's chronos, chronos, and then kairos, kairos. Chronos is the literal ticking clock, the time we measure, which, it's just our watches on the wall or wherever. But it's the actual time that we're looking at. Oh, we got 10 minutes left. We got 15 minutes left. It's important to respect the fact that we have limited time on this planet, of course. But then he also talks about kairos, and that time is the opportune time, the right time, the different time. In other words, making sure we're taking time to live in the present. If you're with your child or with a family member, make sure you're taking time that you normally wouldn't be doing with them. You're enjoying that time. You're enjoying that moment in the present. Because before long, we might not have these opportunities again to be with our family members or to travel or whatever it is you might be doing. So make sure you're taking time to really live more in the present. Because if we're so focused and worried about the future, or we're so focused on the past, we forget to live in the present and enjoy the current moment that we're enjoying. This video, we're enjoying time with our family members. We're enjoying this book that we're reading. We're enjoying whatever it is we're really enjoying. This piece of cake, this food. Enjoy it. Before you know it, you end up being 80, 90, 100 years old, and you realize, wait a minute, I never enjoyed each day. I was so worried about the future and the future and the future, or the past and the past and the past. Just enjoy today by living more in the present and enjoying each and every little moment. Hope you enjoyed the 10 best ideas, big takeaways from Greg McKeown's Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less. Please, again, let me know down below your favorite big idea from today's video. And if you've read the book, let me know your favorite takeaway from the book as well down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like and follow for more content. I'm Professor Dev, and thanks for watching, DevNations. Have a great day.